or too low, or well, anyway, welcome to the stream. A little bit longer to get started here than expected, but we're going to be doing a scene for Read Matter, the event for Read Matter, and we're going to be using the scene from the other companion and just modifying that. I'm wondering if the issue with the sound is due to the bitrate adjusting dynamically. So if it goes quiet for a while, let me know, just in case. Right, so this is the scene I think we want to change. Is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to check this just in case, actually. If I can get out of here, that is. Let's just get out of there a moment. Just want to make sure that is the correct scene. Scene. Right, so I'm going to show you what I'm doing in a minute. Find. Right, okay, so here we are. So this is the code to enter the test scene menu. So I just want to make sure we've got read slavers camp there, which is what we're going to do. We've also got the sand snakes layer we've got to do. And there's also a couple more, but I doubt we'll get onto them today now. We'll probably just do the slavers camp and that'll be it. Right, so that's okay. So if anyone has any questions, then feel free to ask. It's actually been quite a while since I've done any scenes in Warband, so we'll see how we get on. Right, we're just going to delete everything first. And close and save it. One thing we need to do on this is save quite regular, because the seeds does crash quite a few times. And we're also going to reset all of this. Right, okay, so everything should now be back to normal. So if we just close and save and re-enter, that should reset all the grass and everything else as well then. Map loading time should be a lot better in the next update. It's something to do with the shader textures, I think. I actually removed the shader textures from the mountains and it seemed to increase it, well, decrease it should I say, by quite a lot, so that should be a lot better for version 6. MMT, hello. Yes, we will be making a World of Ice and Fire for the sequel, for Bannerlord. And there's quite a few videos of that on this channel if you want to check them out. Right, okay, so I haven't really got any kind of plan for this level, so it's kind of just come in here and go with the flow, see what happens. So I do think we're going to have the camp in the centre somewhere. So the idea of this is pretty much the same as Brog Matters, quests where we come in here and we have to fight a group of people, and then we can speak to read matter afterwards. So we need to kind of try and arrange the scene around that. So what we're going to do is raise all this around the outside. So if we just increase that, so it can be really rough to start with, and then we'll use a smoothing tool to try and smooth all this out. Just make sure these corners are raised up. So I think this is one of the biggest map sizes for Warband. I'm glad to see that the map sizes in Bannerlord are much bigger, which should be much easier for making scenes anyway. Alright, so what I send that down a little bit more. Just smooth all these edges. We'll see what it looks like. I may have to, we can set an actual height for how high we want these mountains to be, or plateaus, or whatever they are. Is Tailworlds in any way involved with the creation of the Bannerlord mod? No, no they're not. The mod is created by people like me who just volunteer. Okay, so we can actually set a level here. So let's level this to, we'll just try something like 5 meters and see where that puts us. It's too low. Try 10. Still too low. 20. Right, so we'll do that 50 and probably change that to 40. Modders haven't been given tools yet. They want to release them after early access, I believe. .0 and 5.3 will not be save compatible, so you will need a new start for that. Mainly because of the way modding works in Warband, it's extremely difficult to actually keep save game compatibility between updates, especially large updates. If it's only small updates, depending what you change, then it's okay, but most of our updates are actually quite large. Alright, so I think the idea is the player's going to start on this hill and the camp's going to be down here somewhere. So we want this to be smoothed off. And that just slightly. Raise all this side up. If we go to 60 meters here as well. I suppose it would help if I actually select the level button. It's a bit better. Smooth that back off. So we're going to set all this to mountain texture. Because what I am going to do is just close and save it, and we're going to change to a different time of day because it's quite difficult to actually see at the moment. So if we just leave. Right, should be a bit better. Where is it? That's the one. Hello, Mel. Limit will still be one fireboard, mainly because the way it works, it's quite difficult to have more than one. Major changes since 4.3. You're best off looking at our mod database page, or if you have a look at the changelog on the Steam Workshop page as well. There's quite a few things that's changed. Thanks, Anusk. Right, okay, so we can actually see a bit better now. So we're going to smooth some more of this off around here. Try and lower this a little bit here. In fact, we probably turn that down slightly. Alright, okay, something like that. We may need to smooth that off a little bit more around here, depending. As soon as we start getting some agents in here, some troops, we can actually see how the terrain looks against them. So this is going to be in quite a hilly part of Essos, so we want some hills and some mountains. We'll just raise this side as well. Next update, I'll be releasing a test build for Patreon subscribers, hopefully by this weekend. Literally as soon as these scenes are finished that I'm now doing, then should be able to release a dev build for Patreon subscribers. Once it's been tested for a couple of weeks, and we'll look at releasing 6.0, so it shouldn't be too long. Okay, and I want to try and raise this back end a bit so we can try and hide this scene background. So if we raise that, we'll level that to about 40. Right, okay, so nice and basic scene layout. Well, we'll just close and save that again. Exit and re-enter, so that should reset all the grass. So now we get a rough look at what the scene's going to look like. So the idea is down the centre there we have all the camps. And the troops you're supposed to be fighting, and we'll start the player up here somewhere, I suppose. So on this map, unlike the Brogmatter map, you will have a slight advantage if you've got archers and stuff. Right, okay. Thanks, Adrian. Any word on Bannerlord mod tools? Not yet. They said they want to release an early access. After early access, sorry. So that could be, well, anywhere from now until a couple of years, I suppose. Okay, so we're going to now start painting the mountains or mountainous areas. It's a bit too much there. Turn that down. So we're going to start with the mountain terrain. and we'll just try and build the layers up and smooth it off. We want the same with this round here, so in fact we're just going to do all of that. The player shouldn't actually see at the top here anyway. A world device of file no runtime error, hopefully. Means we can actually add all the armors and stuff we want to without having to cut half of them due to texture limitations and whatever else, which is a massive problem with Warband. There's also several issues with modding Warband, which I may actually do a video on at some point soon. Right, okay, something like that, I think. We'll start off with this side of the map, and then we might do some at the back end of the map, although this is the side the player will start, so this is the side that needs to be looking the best. Let's just reduce that. Right, okay, so if we just exit that and we redraw all this grass. Yes, every map has to be done like this. Unfortunately, there is no quick way of making scenes in Warband, but looking at the creation tools for Bannerlord, it should be a hell of a lot easier. So if we now go for, what do we want? Turf, I suppose. If we turn the weight down and the hardness, we can actually smooth this in a little bit. Keep that around there somewhere. So the idea with this is just to keep building layers up around the edges. So we'll start off with the turf, then add a bit of mud and whatever else on top. I think in Bannerlord we actually have decals and stuff, so we can actually add decals for water and various other things on the map, which should make things a hell of a lot easier. So yeah, unfortunately this is the boring part of making scenes. as soon as we do get the mod tools, I will be putting some custom battles out on this channel. So Battle of the Bastards, for instance, which should look pretty cool, I think. At least they're the kind of things I can't wait to see in the Bannerlord engine. Right, okay, so just want to smooth that off a little bit. Turn that down. In fact, something like that. So we'll just try and quickly smooth all these edges in. So I was going to record this and release it afterwards, but it was dragging my bitrate down, so unfortunately I couldn't do that. I suppose I could probably change that now. Let me just have a quick check. Yeah, it's not actually letting me change it now, which is a shame. Right, just try and hit record, we'll see what happens. If it starts buffering, let me know and I'll turn the record off. Is it possible to add a place where battle take place in low-lying water or mountain cliff? Well, yeah, I suppose so. I mean, there's quite a lot of things are possible in Warband. It's just very time consuming and not very easy to debug and fault find, which again means it's very time consuming. Alright, so that wants to be mountain, grey stone. Yeah, the idea with Bannerlord is we can actually put some custom battles in, so you can actually play out whatever scenario you want, to be honest. I mean, we didn't do that with Warband because it's so much harder to work on the multiplayer side. This is for a new quest. So the follow-up from Brog Matter quest. This is for the Read Matter quest. So this has been commissioned by Fallen Lord on our Discord. So we're just going to have to try and break this mountain up a little bit. A bit more smoothing to do around here as well. Do that now, I suppose. Okay, what's the stream like? Are we buffering it all there? It's telling me the bit rate is quite low. Alright, so just want a few little bits of rock here and there. A bit more around there. So we've actually got 3 audio guys working on Bannerlord mod as well. So there should be a lot more varied music in Bannerlord. We've also got an extra 3 modelers as well working on the Bannerlord version. Right, okay, just this bit over here to do, and then we can start looking at adding some extra layers in, I suppose. Then I'll show you the menu code for this actual scene as well. So then we can see how the entry points relate to what actually gets put into the scene. Right, okay, so got a little bit of touching up to do here and there. Up here, I suppose, a bit of smoothing as well. So in fact, if we just smooth some of this off. Bit there I missed. Player shouldn't actually come up here, so they shouldn't see this, but we'll just make sure it's done right for consistency. We need to smooth that terrain as well. Right, okay. Let's check this bit here. Alright, so just save that again. So one thing I've learnt with Warband is save, 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 because it's not very nice when you spend several hours on a scene and you end up losing it because it crashes on you. Thank you, Ertologia, is that correct? Will this mod be continued on Warband after Bannerlord tools are out? Well, one of the only reasons I continue at the moment is due to Patreon pledges and donations. So if people still want me to work on it and continue to donate, then I will continue to work on it. Although I would preferably work on the Bannerlord version, if I can. Right, okay, so that's the very basic outline of the terrain done. So ideally, we need to do stuff like earth. I think we want some earth. We'll turn that up a little bit. Turn this weight and hardness up a bit as well. So we're going to imagine the camp is going to be down there somewhere. So now we're going to want a bit of earth around the edges. I'm not going to do all the edges on camera because it's not very exciting. But normally we would just add a bit of dirt around some of these edges here. Turn that down a bit. Now there is a current issue where this terrain here is supposed to paint this grass, but for some reason it doesn't, so I need to actually look into that, because that is slightly annoying. And we'll probably add a bit of dirt down here as well. Alright, so we got a bit of transparency coming through there, so that's where things do not merge properly. So we just want to go over that a little bit more. There we go. In stationary wars mode, how far events keep going after the red wedding? Red wedding is one of the last events unless you do the main quest line. So there's a few more events if you do the main quest line. If you complete parts of the quest line, then there will be several other events. But then you also have the White Walker event, which happens anyway, no matter what, unless you turn it off in the options, which a lot of work has been done on that for 6.0. So the White Walkers are going to be a lot harder next update. Right, reload that. That should reset all the grass. So for a basic scene outline, that's pretty much okay for now. We may have to smooth them mountains a little bit, put some rocks up there or something. Same with them over there, so they look a bit more natural. That one's smoothing a little bit. Thanks very much. It's appreciated. I'm a bit OCD when it comes to all this terrain smoothing. I don't like to see jagged edges. And this, I think, is too high. So we're going to smooth that all. Turn that up a bit. Slightly annoying, you don't get a preview of your radius on this. Like if you was using Unreal Engine or something, for instance, you'd actually have a radius so you could see where exactly you're smoothing. Right, okay. I'll do the same for this over here. I think that should be a bit better. Yeah, so this issue I was on about here, I think it's to do with the current shaders, which were from Viking Conquest. Or at least the textures we've used for them. just make sure this bit behind here is done as well. Okay, that'll be because I'm recording as well. Just empty my recycle bin there. There you go. Hello, Benjamin. No, not yet. After early access, so maybe a year or two. We don't know yet. Oops, didn't want to do that. There's also no undo tool for this editor as well, which is a bit of a pain. Stick that back. Another reason why we need to save quite regular. Right, there we go. So just save and exit that again. Okay, so we could probably add a few rocks here and there, some trees. I suppose we should do something about this over here. I don't like the fact that this doesn't look natural enough. Should probably raise this corner a little bit as well. We'll level it out to, I think that was 60, so if we go to 80, right in this corner. Something like that, and then we can smooth all that back off again. It's a little bit too much. Right, just cover that. And then a bit more turf. So I think I'll do this and we'll start adding some scene props. Just because that might be a little bit more exciting than this. Turn that down a little bit. What do we want? Let's do a bit of earth on here, shall we? just move this off at the back. Something like that. Right, so we're probably going to add a few trees here and there to start with, so I do just want to save this again. So I don't think that's looking too bad from here. So my favourite tree are actually these ones, which are from With Fire and Sword. So we can either randomise rotation and we can randomise the scale of these, which we probably will do. I'm just going to stick a few of these here and there. Probably don't want random scale on that because it's already quite large. So I think, so these should disappear due to the LODs in this game. They end up disappearing at a certain distance, which could be a bit of a pain when trying to make scenes because you can't actually picture what everything looks like. I want a couple of large ones in the middle here, something like that. Whoops. Like that one. So you can't actually see that, we're too far away. And then we probably want, do we want pine trees on this level? No, let's get some larger trees. Not them ones. Well, I suppose we could use them, seeing as we're on a rocky terrain. If anyone actually gets bored of the music in the game, let me know and I'll put something else on. Ah, Danilo, yes, I know who you are. You're best off getting in touch with me on Discord. Well, we'll just add some random trees just to fill the scene out a little bit. So we probably want these all around here as well. Get a bit close so we can actually see them. So I still need to look at the shaders for these trees as well. So the issue with the dancing trees is something to do with the shaders from Viking Conquest. So obviously the trees in Viking Conquest were made specifically with them shaders in mind, whereas these ones are not. So there's also some other trees in here we can use. Let's just actually move closer so we can see them. So we can stick some of these randomly about, just to break things up a little bit. So if we stick them there. So yeah, it's slightly annoying that the scenes have these lods on them, or the trees do, because it means we can't actually see what it looks like from a distance. But I have to put them lods in just because of performance issues with Warband, so hopefully that's something else that will get fixed in Bannerlord. Which by the looks of the current scenes in Bannerlord, it is a lot better. At least they don't completely disappear. Thanks Robert. Lofted Luke, we are making a scene for a new quest for version 6. Right, so should probably add a few rocks. Let's see what rocks we got in here. If I can remember what does what. Don't want that one. Let's make that a bit bigger, shall we? Or not. If I can remember how to actually do this. No. Okay, so we're going to have to... If I can remember what the buttons are for this. I could have sworn it was that one, but that's not working. Oh, there we go. I think I'll probably just add them later because that's going to take me ages to do them. So what we will do is take a look at, in fact, let me just close that first and save it again, just in case. Not that I'm paranoid or anything. Right, so if I just get up, I'm just going to try and bring the menu up for this. Okay, so here is the actual code. So this is the code for this scene, basically, for this part of the quest. So this here relates to what agents actually get put into the scene. So we have Slaver Infantry 2, Slaver Camel Riders, and then we have the Slaver boss as well. So here we have 1 to 20, so these are the actual scene locations to put in there. So if we go to entry points, we can actually see on here. So entry point 1 is going to be 30 of the Slaver Infantry, because they're saved to register 0. Number 2 is going to be 10 of them. Number 3, 10 of them. Number 4 is going to be 30 of the Infantry 2 type, because they're saved to the register 1, and so on. And we know the Slaver boss is number 20, which is the most important one, really. We want to make sure that he is surrounded and guarded, so we probably want to put him around here somewhere, but we might need to put some tents and stuff down first, just so we know roughly where we want to be. So if we put down, I want to turn that off now. So if we change that to 20, I could probably get it working. It's not going to work at the minute, I don't think, because we've not got the mission template set up. But I could set that up afterwards, I think, just so we can actually test it and see what happens. Okay, Danley, I'll have a check once I've come off stream. Can we convert map of Mountain Blade Warband to Gary's mod? I've never done anything on Gary's mod, so I don't actually know. When you say map, do you mean the campaign map? The campaign map is actually just zeros and ones if you look at it, or well, letters, which is vector positions for the map. So I mean, you could convert it. You can convert it to an object file anyway, which can then be put into other places. The battle map, I don't know, to be honest, no idea. They're saved as a separate scene file, so unless you can access that somehow and convert it, then probably not. Right, so what we can do is, first I'm going to add some tents, I think. Just so I know roughly where I want these agents to spawn. So let's see if I can actually find them. So this is another problem with Warband, is trying to find different scene props. can't remember if they're saved as just tents. Okay, so we've got some here. Suppose we could add these ones. Which we're going to want something like this. Now there's only one problem with adding lots of scene props. Adding lots of complexity to a scene is the AI in Warband isn't actually very good. So it means more running into buildings and more issues with that kind of thing. And then a lot more time setting up the AI mesh, which is another pain. So this guy is going to be stood near his tent, I suppose. Stick that somewhere like that. See to make sure that ground is level enough for that. And that doesn't look too bad, actually. And these ones. Yep, they're okay. Stick some of these small tents under the tree. So we should probably try and keep them over to the right hand side so they don't get in the way when the actual battle starts. I will just put a couple more around this guy. That's the one we want. Right, okay, that'll do for now. Okay, so we want some little campfires. So if I can remember what the actual scene props are that I normally use for this. That's the one. This editor's in game. It's just very old and not very good, to be honest. Stick that there. We just want to put a bit of earth down for them. Probably for these tents as well. A few little paths there. And back onto the main path. We got this ring we got going around the outside there. So if we just close that again, that should clear all of the grass from the area then. So now we can add some actual fire to these. So I think we want to be looking for village fire. Village fire big, that one will do. Yeah, that's probably a bit too big. I will just scale that down a bit. It will scale, that is. That way we won't be going. Right, okay, that don't actually seem to be making much difference. Right, so we have to use a different one. There's one called actual fire in here. Fire small, there we go. Should be a bit better. Yes. Stick a couple of them on there. That last one, we want to raise that. Stick that in there. Okay, so we actually have some little fires going now. That looks a bit too high, I think. Now we need some smoke. That one I think we want. Right, okay. The terrain needs smoothing there, I can see. When that grass disappears, just smooth that off. Right, so now we can actually start adding some of the agents to the scene. Hello Tedium. So Tedium's been doing some of the scenes currently in the game. So Bravos is one he's redoing just to make sure the coastal assaults work properly because they were quite broken, and Dragonstone as well. So they will be in 6.0, so at least the coastal assaults will actually work properly for a change. Justin, no, we haven't started on the code side because we can't. We've got no mod tools for it, but we've got people already making models, and we already have design documents written up for it. So we've sort of started, but we can't actually start on the actual mod yet. Right, if we just okay, so why are you not changing? Right, let's just see if it's because we're in edit mode. Let's just save that. Okay, why are you not actually letting me change the size of the screen? Right, okay, I'll tell you what, we will just do it like that. Just so I could try and get this on the screen as well. I can go over there. Right, so now we can actually start adding the entry points. So the player is at the set jump entry 0 is where the player is. So we want the player to be around here. We have to be a bit careful because we're going to have to set up some barriers along here, otherwise the AI will probably just jump straight off the edge, which is not what we want. So set that to 0. Right, okay, so now we can actually add the enemy agents. So I suppose it doesn't really matter where we put these too much. We want the infantry possibly over this side, so we put the camel riders over here somewhere. So what are they? Register 2, so we're looking at 7, 8, 9, 10, and then we've got 18 and 19. So let's put that one as 7, one as 8, nine, and put 10 over here. I guess that kind of looks like they are reinforcements. And what I say, 18 and 19, we'll stick these right at the back here. So that one could be 18 and then 19 just there. So I mean, I guess the player could try and come down this little track here if he wants to. So you've basically got two choices. Bring the brunt of your force down here, which is a lot more open, or try and maneuver around this side. But obviously you're going to run straight into these camel riders. So slaver infantry, they are the weaker type, so we probably want to put them first. So we're looking at 1, 2 and 3 to start with. So if we stick them 1 there, and then we've got 11 and 14. So it should make it a little bit more difficult if the player actually has archers. If you've got archers and you stick them on this hill, you're only going to be killing the weaker infantry first. Then we've got 7, 8, 9 and 10. So we're going to stick these at the back. 7. We can actually move these around afterwards anyway. Hang on a minute, that's number 2, and we actually want number 1, so we want 4, 5 and 6. So that wants to be 4. 5 and 6. And then 12 and 15. Which will probably stick here somewhere. It's got 20 and 15 troops on these ones. So number 12 and number 15. Alright, so we can actually get rid of that now. Close and save this. Right, okay, so now we have the fun part of the AI mesh. So we've got to do the AI mesh, otherwise we can't actually test it. But yeah, this is not really very exciting. But we probably want to start up here. Stick that back over here. So we could create AI mesh from scratch, but it's not very intelligent when it does this. So we end up having to create it ourselves every time. Okay, so move that down. Yeah, I don't want to add too much complexity to the scene because this is mainly a battle scene. We don't want the AI getting stuck on everything. So I want to try and keep it relatively simple if I can. So the easiest way I've found to do this is to try and extrude it to where you want to extrude the opposite direction, which you'll see what I mean in a minute. So if we do this, we probably want 2 to go down there. You also have to be a bit careful with the terrain as well, because if this AI mesh isn't flat on the ground, then the AI don't seem to work properly. So now we want to select these 2. In fact, just going to do all of these to start with. So now we can extrude all of these. So this is where the difficult part is. We've got to try and keep these as low as possible. So now we can select these 2 and actually extrude down here. Yeah, this is one of the problems with Warband. You need a lot of tests for the scenes to make sure they work properly, and most of the time, unfortunately, I don't have time to spend a huge amount of time testing scenes, which is why you guys that play them need to actually report issues for me so I can then fix them. So screenshots helps quite a lot. Or you could do what Tedium does and decide to have a go at fixing them yourself. What's going on here? That's the one I want. So hopefully if we do this relatively roughly, they should try and stay on the AI mesh as much as possible. But again, it's just really tedious to do this. I think the best idea is we're just going to do something quickly, and then I'll load up the mission template for it, just so we can actually see what everything looks like with all the enemy troops and everything in here. Around that tree, something like that. Probably too big. I'm excited to play a AWoIaF 5 bundle. I'm excited to see what it's going to look like, especially when you've got 1,000 troops on screen, and the custom battles are going to be pretty cool as well. But it does use C# as well for its scripting language, which should make things a lot easier. And from what I've seen from the actual modding side of it, it's pretty much like using a modern engine, the way you access the methods and everything, compared to Warband, which was completely different. So when we set this mission template up, they probably will just go charging straight towards the player. So we'll see what happens with that. That will be raised a bit more, and that's one. A bit longer. There we go. So if anyone actually wants to have a go at creating any scenes for a AWoIaF and Fire on Warband after watching this, then let me know. You're more than welcome to have a go. I think there's something like 250 scenes, maybe more than that to be fair, in a AWoIaF and Fire, so there's a lot to go at. Right, so if we just extrude all of these from there. Something like that. Yeah, it looks like they've actually built the game from the ground up to be mod friendly. So by the looks of it, it will be much easier, which is good for me and good for everyone else, I suppose. As you can see, this stuff like this is just really time consuming. So if this was twice as quick, we would actually get twice as many scenes completed. I mean, we could just go the easy way and make everything flat, but then obviously that would be a bit boring. We're just going to do this quick. Whoops, wrong way. So sometimes we have to make these vertexes a bit smaller, or these faces. Otherwise it doesn't cover everything properly. It ends up going underneath the terrain, which causes issues with the AI. Which is a problem in some of the scenes actually in the game at the minute. We actually want to take that up to that tree, and that one I suppose can go over there. So this is a difficult part now with these, but if we try and keep the fighting in front of these, then we shouldn't need to worry too much about them. So that, raise that, that can go back here. In fact, that wants to be there, and there. But I'll probably end up finishing this off screen anyway. So we will need to eventually come round here with the AI mesh down here and actually join it to this one down here. But as I say, I'll probably do all that off screen anyway, just so I don't bore you all too much. Bring that back a bit. Right, I'll probably leave it like that for now. We will need to extrude all these out to here, something like that. That wants to be around the tree, so this here, if we select that and I'll do them first. And then we can actually move them out a bit more. If we select, let's just move that in a bit first. So if we try and level that up with this one here, we can actually select that one and fill. Okay. Suppose we don't want to come too far to this edge because we're going to have to put some barriers up around here, I think, at some point. Whoops, don't want to do that. Probably have to drag these off screen, and sometimes it doesn't stop moving. I could use the automatic create AI mesh, but it's not very intelligent, so yeah, it just don't work very well. I end up having to redo most of it anyway. I was going to show before, but then it means I just have to delete everything, so I didn't bother. Anyway, I think we're going to leave that like that for a moment. Right, let's just see if I can set this up. Just do this off screen quickly, and I think if we set that to alright, just recompile this. Right, so if we reload this, then hopefully, if that's all worked correctly, we should actually see some troops in here. But we haven't. Okay. Alright, so why is that? Right, okay, that should... Oh, hang on, I see. No, it's not going to work like that. We need to actually access the menu for it. Which I probably can't do, to be honest. Is what I could do actually is I'm just going to try and set the menu up for this so we can actually access it. Right, so if I change Right, this may or may not work, I don't know, we'll see. Just got to recompile that again, leave here. We have a donation tier on our Patreon if you want to add companions, but this is going to be getting an overhaul some point soon for the Bannerlord version as well. So I think the idea is to keep the Bannerlord and the Warband version on the same Patreon site just to make things easier, but I'm going to change the tiers depending on if you want to donate for the Warband version or the Bannerlord version. But I assume that once the mod tools are out, everyone's going to want to donate towards the Bannerlord version anyway. Right, okay, so this, if we restore module data, this should work. Hopefully. Options, more, so if we go to this, here we go. So have we actually got some troops here? And we have. Okay, so they're all just going to start attacking me. Because obviously that's what they're told to do. Where did they come from? I think I must have missed an entry point somewhere. Let's just double check our entry points for that. Right, we can actually pause this in here. So I think that's not that one. That one. Is that the one? Right, so we've missed an entry point somewhere, which is why they've started over in this corner. One tip, if you do edit anything in the scenes, if you don't pause it and you try and edit the AI mesh, then it's likely the game will crash. So we're going to get out of that anyway. We want to be in edit objects. So which one have we missed? We've got 7, 8, 9, 10. 7, 8, 9 and 10. 16, 17, 18, 19. 16 and 17 we've missed by the looks of it. Yeah. So we'll stick these at the back with these.
Spineless women folk!
16 and 17, I think I said. Right, okay, so we have to actually die first. So let's just do that so we can reload and make sure they're all in the correct place. So there should be no one behind us, and there still is someone behind us. So we still missed one somewhere. Alright, let's just check what that one is. Just re-enter it first. So Control and F11 is to pause. We want to make sure we've actually got some light first. Okay, so them two are there, so there's still one more we've actually missed. So let's have a look. Right, so let's just go through and make sure we've got them all. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 is the one we're missing. So we're going to stick these. I don't really want to put them behind here. Well, I suppose I can do, it doesn't really matter. Just means I've got to bring the AI mesh all the way around the back here.
Leave none alive!
13, okay. So we're just going to, we have to, if you don't unpause it before you leave the scene or before you die or whatever, and then, yeah, it causes issues. It actually pauses the campaign and you can't unpause it unless you're in a scene, and you can't get in a scene because it's paused. Okay, so they're all actually in now. Let's see where they're actually going to go. See if they're going to follow the AI mesh round or try and actually come up the hill. He's just hit something. And they're just going to try and shoot me, aren't they? Yeah. So yeah, they're actually trying to come up the hill there, you see, so we may have to put some AI barriers down to stop that. So yeah, there you go. Lots of arrows. Considering we've got like 400 arrows coming towards us, they didn't kill us that quick. Right, well, anyway, I think I'm going to end the stream there. I might do another one probably next week for the other scenes that need to be done, or maybe even tomorrow. So keep an eye out for that. Thanks for everyone for watching, and hopefully I'll see you all in the next stream. I'll see you all later.